Well, let's just say that we have a lot of projects. One that we are really pushing is our Toronto Great project. We have Teach for America grants. If you are a brother and you are going into the core, after this, we will promise you up to $500 per year in grants as long as you ask me. And you have to fill out a form and just tell me what it's going to go towards council. But as many core members as we have, we will put that funding up to help you with your classroom. We will also then put you in touch with your region and try to get those chapters to adopt your classroom, come to projects at your classroom. And we're also going to try and get your regions to start going back to our past alternative break sites and sustaining those projects. So if you are in Mid-South in Georgia, in the new Mid-South, we would love to have you come back to our past one, this past heritage, right? If you are Southwest region, we'd love to have you go back to our school in Phoenix that we visited 2 years ago. If you're in the Mississippi Delta area, we would love to have you go back into Shelby and really help them continue with that. And that's something that we're looking forward to go continue. So as we grow this nationally, we are also helping set up a sustaining local Teach for America project within your region. We talked about regions a lot. If you didn't hear Kyle's thrilling presentation yesterday, we're doing it, we're realigning regions. We are adding 6 regions, and with that, we are reducing the number of chapters in your region. We are setting up a lot of opportunity to give you more chances to do fantastic stuff with that. With a smaller region, there's more chances for you to step up and take a role in the regional delegate position. There's much more chances for us to start recognizing your chapter as top in regions. There's more chances for you guys to be in the running for torches. And it's basically a tighter, smaller region so that you likely will have a better idea about what your neighbor is doing than previously. If you look, for example, at the Southwest, you guys went from California to Denver and then all the way across to the Mississippi to Texas, right? I mean, you had states that you had to travel over to get to each other. As we look at that and we realign, we say, let's make that a little more tight and close. And so we might split that up. We still love the Southwest. We still hope you love each other in your new regions and you can still visit each other. But we want you to understand what's going on with your neighbor and helping them. So we talked about the opportunity for leadership today. What I want to do is I want to have a call for action for you. What can you do to step up into a role and help us achieve? We're doing fantastic things across the board, but at the same time, we do have chapters that are struggling, that do have trouble with recruitment, that do have trouble with fundraising, that do have trouble with leadership within their chapter, within apathy, and they are your neighbors. They're sitting next to you today, they're in your region, they're right down the road from you. There is a fantastic opportunity for you guys to tell us and show us what you and your region can do to help pull them up. We can do fantastic things, but at the same time, we are as strong as our weakest, most struggling chapter is. And we can pull everyone up to the level of our best chapters. I can't begin to imagine what we're going to do. I can't even imagine what that focus on Teach for America would be like if people aren't struggling with, how do I get people to attend my business meeting, but I have too many people attending my service project and I have to grow it. That's a challenge that I want to see. That's a struggle I want you to deal with because that would be absolutely fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, doesn't like me. Just ignore those. So here's my spectrum of chapters. We have strong chapters. We have chapters that you just know for the past couple of years you've been doing this. They send 20 people here. They're always winning awards. They're always yelling and exciting. They're doing events that you want to travel to. They're reaching out to you even without you asking and like, hey, what's going on? How's it doing? Can we help you with anything? On the other hand, we have chapters that are rebuilding, chapters that, while some of you guys are in the 80, 90, 100 member range, we have chapters that are in the 8, 9, 10 people range. And with that, tremendous challenges for them. And so I want to start looking at that rebuilding end and what you guys can help me with. Regional conference attendance across the board, fantastic this past year. Let's keep that growing. Now, if the distance for you to travel to that is now shorter because your region is now smaller, I can only imagine what that graph is going to look like next year. Chapters participating in conferences, on the other hand, the top is who's participated, the bottom is who missed it. So while growth was up, and while we have the most people attending regional conferences we ever did, we have 17 chapters that actually didn't even go at all. So the question is, what can you do about that? How can you, in your region, make sure that next year you don't have a chapter in your region missing your conference? Because if you've been to your conference, you know what's being the takeaway from that. You know that it's a mini convention, and that there is excitement, and there is so much being done. So the question for you to think about while we go through this is, what can you do to ensure that those 17 people are added to that other side of that list, and that next year we have 100% attendance at regional conferences? Think about that as you're hosting, think about that as you're just communicating with chapters, think about that as your regional delegates are, motivated, ensuring that that regional delegate that wasn't on the call is followed up with and asked and helped. And when you talk about funding, making sure that they're able to get there, making sure that chapters are helping each other travel. Regional conference funding. Well, regional conferences again are up, and while tuition is up, and while national convention is what you would say is expensive, we do not have regions that are asking us for funding. We are going to give you $500 per conference if you tell us what it's going to be used on. That money's there, it's sitting there. The good news is it's grown in the fact that last year only 2 conferences asked us for reimbursement to 5. But out of 12 of you guys, that's money and opportunity that we could have done that could have solved that problem of getting a chapter there potentially. If you put that money into helping that chapter that's 3 hours away or that needs to fly potentially, if you put that energy back into, instead of your chapter who hosted it, putting money in, if you got reimbursed, you could put that money back into coming here. Free money. I want you to take it. I want you to understand how you can use the resources available to make your region that much better, and you can step up and be leaders in your local level. Delinquent forms. Fun stuff. If you're at Grand Chapter, people have purple placards. A lot of that is just people who haven't turned in forms. We've contacted you guys, we've reached out to you guys a lot of times, and we have 38 disciplinary motions taken this past year to put chapters on probation because forms weren't handed in, dues weren't submitted on time, or people just didn't want to fill out the entire Form 110. That officer may have just walked away and the chapter didn't realize it. Why I want to tie this in with this is just morale overall. If we have to take action because we can't communicate with chapters in your region and we have to put them on probation, it's going to affect their willingness to want to come to this and want to come to Grand Chapter University. Because they're like, I can't vote. So the question I have for you guys is, what can you do in terms of your communication with your chapters that you can help us make that number go down? All of your due dates are the same, minus the quarter schools. But if you're submitting Form 110 and you're having a great Form 110 pre-party to fill it out, are you calling out that chapter down the road and saying, hey, we're about to head into our stuff. What was your planning to get this in on time? Because we want you guys to get that information. We want you to make sure that you're not being delinquent in such basic stuff. We want you focusing your time on more key areas. Convention representation. Convention attendance is up across the board. Fantastic. At the same time, the red on this, 2 chapters did not send anybody to Grand Chapter last year. This year we have 5. 5 people that did not come, that did not sit through our discussions on risk management and do not know what they need to take back.